Gary, come in. I'm excited to hear you branching out into television writing. The Idiot Box needs artists, Gary. It's got plenty of idiots, but not enough artists. What have you got for me today?
It's called Lidsville.
The town of Lidsville. Put it on the map. The money map, that is. I love it.
The show involved a teenage boy named Mark, Butch Patrick.
TV's Eddie Munster is back as Mark. There's your headline, Variety. Rita, book me an entire row at the Emmys.
Who fell into the hat of Merlot the magician, Charles Nelson Riley.
Well, this is a distressing twist.
And arrived in Lidsville, a land of living hats.
Dear God, I'm ruined.
The hats on the show are depicted as having the same characteristics as the humans who would normally wear them.
What does that mean? So if a guy was a racist and wore a baseball cap, the baseball cap would be racist as well? That's what this is all about? An entire town of racist hats? For a kid's show? I cannot believe what I am hearing.
For example, a cowboy hat would act and speak like a cowboy.
Yes, the concept is not what's giving me trouble, Gary. The extremely simple to grasp concept is not giving me any trouble. Where I'm having trouble with your pitch, Gary, is that this hat of yours is going to be rustling cattle, drinking and whoring, driving Native American hats off their tribal grounds. It is not a proud chapter in our history that this hat of yours represents.
The characters' houses were also hat-shaped.
Yes, this makes sense, because every morning I open my front door and I think, you know what is missing from this gated community? I wish that when Murray walked out of his house across the street, the house looked exactly like Murray. Like a gargantuan, three-garage Murray!
The villain of the show was a magician named Horatio J. Hoodoo.
Okay. An evil magician? I'm not going to lie, I like the sound of it. And Horatio J. Hoodoo, that's a catchy name. Gary, I could see this character riding the ship.
Also played by Charles Nelson Riley, in a magician's costume and makeup.
Damn it, Gary!
Among other notable characters were Raunchy Rabbit, Weenie the Genie, and Rah-Rah the Football Helmet.
Rah-Rah the Football Helmet is one of your more notable characters? You know what this tells me, Gary? It tells me that somewhere during the drive to my office today, you realized that despite being dressed, in your car, and en route to a meeting with a powerful, powerful man, you had not prepared a single idea. Then you drove past a football field. You hit the brakes, scribbled some nonsense on the back of a McRib wrapper, and here you are 10 minutes later reading it to me in my office. I want to puke.
The vain, short-tempered, but somewhat naive Hoodoo flew around in his Hatamaran, blasting the good citizens of Lidsville with bolts of magic, referred to as zapping, and keeping them in fear, demanding that they pay him their hat checks.
Oh, yes, beautiful. The 6-year-old watching at home will take time out from smearing jelly and gum on his face to nudge his slovenly friend and knowingly nod towards the camera every time one of your twisted characters surrenders his hat check. Kids love puns that reference positions of employment that were archaic during the Eisenhower administration.
Mark helped the good hats resist as he attempted to find a way back home. Hoodoo, trying to reclaim control of the androgynous weenie from Mark, often enlisted the services of 4 bad hats consisting of Mr. Big, Captain Hooknose, Bella the Vampire's Cowl, and Boris the Executioner's Hood.
I cannot believe that I allowed you to keep talking after you uttered the phrase, reclaim control of the androgynous weenie. But oh, Gary, am I glad I did. Captain Hooknose. Bravo, Gary. Does Captain Hooknose pal around with any other hats? Commissioner Klezmer? Senator Yarmulke?
In his high hat home, Hoodoo was besieged by the taunting music of the Hat Band, as well as all of his talking knickknacks, the parrot, Mr. Skull, the mounted alligator head, the sawed-in-half lady, to list only a few.
Was Hoodoo's high hat home a TGI Fridays? Did he reside in the enchanted tiki room? How does the Hat Band stack up to the Rock-afire explosion of showbiz pizza fame? Shall I keep going, Gary? I've got a dozen references.
Hoodoo also experienced further aggravation at the hands of his aides, the dim, raunchy rabbit and his two-faced card guard, Jack of Clubs, a walking deck of playing cards.
Of course. Raunchy rabbit. Because when our show is floundering, viewers abandoning it in droves, the ratings plummeting, and advertisers wanting our head, what will revive it? A dim-witted lagomorph who waltzes in to make off-color remarks. Hope you're enjoying the hat puns, kids. Might I trouble you to listen to my joke about the farmer's daughter and the 3 holes in the barn? Dear God, Gary, these are children we're talking about. Children! Not bust-in retirees who are killing time once they've been eliminated from the slots tournament in Atlantic City.
Hoodoo watched the action going on in downtown Lidsville from his hat home by using his evil eye, a device similar to a TV set, but resembling an eyeball. He also had a hot hat-line phone. The show relied on an endless array of puns based on hats.
Does it now? Gary, when a TV executive is trying to come up with the next big television phenomenon, he'll likely look back at the classics for inspiration. And as you thumb through the annals of our great programs, your Seinfelds, your Cheers, your Hill Street Blues, one recurring theme always stands out: the endless array of puns based on hats that each of those shows relied on.
Many of the episodes were about Mark trying to get back home, but the evil hoodoo prevented him from leaving. Weenie, being a nervous bumbler, was in fact a genie, but many of the tricks and spells didn't work right anymore after being a slave to hoodoo for so long.
Yes, this is the breakout star we've been waiting for. Kids will be clamoring for the action figure of the nervous, bumbling, androgynous character named Weenie, whose powers have been rendered ineffectual by his years of slavery to the evil wizard. Kids love broken spirits. They want action figures of men who are bitter shells of their former selves. And if this broken state has been brought on by slavery, all the better.
In the show's final episode, scenes from some of the past episodes were featured, as Hoodoo's mother had paid a visit to find out what has been going on in Lidsville. Unfortunately for Mark, he did not return home at the end.
A grim ending for a grim death march of a show. It would be inappropriate to leave the young, distraught viewers of Lidsville with a sense that the wrongs of the world might ever right themselves. The despair children felt while watching Lidsville could not be rectified by simply allowing Mark to escape the hell that had become his reality, as Lidsville would likely have become the inescapable reality of the sad, sad children who tuned in. Anything else you'd care to add?
Music was also a part of the show, with songs being performed by the characters in several episodes.
Of course it was. Gary, get the hell out of my office.